Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to the beautiful Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for race number 2 of the brand new for 2026 TCR Europe Cup. My name is Paul Jeffrey. The track you can see on screen, and right down there on the grid, we have our very own Elena Pichuk, who's about to find a few people to talk to before we go motor racing for the first time this morning, the second time this weekend, and 10 more drivers look to take on this incredible ribbon of racing tarmac. Right then, without further ado, before we get under action, let's have a look, see if Elena is down there on the grid and has found anybody to chat to ahead of racing action commencing in just a few moments' time. I don't think Helena is quite ready yet, so before we do head down there, we saw a little bit of the weather stuff. It has been declared a wet race here today at Spa. That gives the drivers the option to run wet tyres if they so wish. I dare say it's probably a little bit too dry for that one, but it's another variable that we throw into the mix. Spa, the Belgian weather, it always throws up something to add a little bit more challenge for our drivers. And if you saw the race yesterday afternoon, you'll see that plenty of drama and challenge is always well received. A bit of a controversial one yesterday, Santiago Concepcion taking his first win. But before we do that, let's head down to Helena, who's down on the grid talking to our drivers.
Hello everybody, good morning here at Spa. So here was raining all the night, and you can see literally the floor is still wet. And it's cold here, like 6 degrees, and we are all shaking. But I have here Jensen Brickley. He is the reigning TCR Europe champion. Hello, Jensen. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Like you say, it's very cold here this morning, and obviously the track is slightly damp still from the rain overnight. But yeah, I think the race should be pretty exciting today.
Yeah, cool. So, Jensen, you are the perfect example of the stage from the national championship to the regional championship and then to the world tour. Tell us about your plans for this year.
Yeah, like you say, obviously I started in TCR 3 years ago, and like you said, it's a proven platform. Started in TCR UK, stepped to Spain, then to Europe, and obviously won that last year. At the moment, we have the plan to do the first 4 World Tour rounds, and yeah, see where it goes from there. Hopefully we can find some budget to finish the season, but yeah, like you say, it's good to finally get to the World Tour.
Okay, perfect, and good luck for this. And here with you, we have Katie, your girlfriend. So, Katie, hello, and glad to see you here again with us on the TCR Europe grid. So, tell us, please, the mission of the girlfriend during the race weekend. I can see you every race weekend, literally.
It's always super manic. It's always living out of a suitcase last minute, but got to be here supporting. Always super important that Jensen's not here on his own. Good support for him always.
Yeah, it should be very exciting. Did you have any moment that you were quite scared or super excited for Jensen?
Oh, the last round in Barcelona, it was super nervous, super nerve-wracking. You never know what was going to happen. It came down to the last race. It was amazing, really. It was best case scenario, but always nervous. It's always nerve-wracking. You never know what's going to happen.
Okay, perfect. And good luck for the next rounds. We hope to see you here again soon. We are coming back to Paul. Paul, please.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you very much, Helena. And yes, it is as cold as it looks out there. So great work down on the grid in less than optimal conditions. While the atmospheric temperature might be a little bit low, the heat is most certainly rising as we get ready to go motor racing around this beautiful 7.004 kilometre, 19-turn Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. It's legendary. You don't need me to introduce it, but it's got 9 corners to the left, 10 to the right. The lap record actually now is no longer held by Marco Budi. That was taken by Alex Lee in qualification by a full second. He smashed the lap record in qualifying 1 for race 1 yesterday. That took place, as mentioned yesterday. Race 2 today. And then on the weekend of the 18th to the 20th of September, we head over to Spain for hopefully a lot better weather at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. A very compact and small calendar. It's a new category for 2026, is the TCR Europe Cup. Designed with an ambition to give an opportunity for drivers to learn more about motor racing from their experienced pros, and also for more track time ahead of the next TCR Europe round, which will be taking place on the 17th of May. But let's head back down again to Elena, who's still on the grid with one of our drivers.
Yes, we have here Santi Concepcion, who won yesterday his first race in TCR Europe. Santi, how many messages did you get yesterday? How many calls?
Too much messages. Very thankful for all the support received yesterday. The work along time gives its results finally. So yeah, people recognize it, and I'm very thankful about it. Anyways, like as when things go wrong and we are sad about results, we keep working. It must be the same when we win. So yesterday I see it and saw the races in detail, my own board from the race, and keep working for that races for the next month.
Perfect. Congratulations again. One more question. What advice did you give to your teammate for today's race?
Well, today I wasn't able to talk with them, but yesterday we were taking the possibility of having a wet track yesterday, and with the engineers we talked a bit each topic possible for today, each plan, and I think they have a clear information. I wish to be there in the grid with them, because these challenging conditions are usually very fun to drive in, and yeah, I'm wishing to be there, but it's not possible for today.
Okay, we wish you all the best. Good luck for this race, and yeah, see you next round.
Thank you.
Marvellous stuff. Thank you very much. That was, of course, Santiago Concepcion that took his very first TCR win yesterday in the opening round of the TCR Europe Cup. This one, then, if you missed it yesterday, we're going to change the drivers. We'll talk about that one in a moment, because let's have a look who's who on the grid. Gabriele Corvini takes pole position for BRC Racing. Lionel Pernilla alongside him, the Argentinian touring car legend. Giacomo Prandelli will start from third position, doubling up from the podium of yesterday. Ruben Fernandez alongside in the number 33 Icoa Racing Machine. He will start in fourth place. Sergio Lopez will line up in fifth position in the car vacated by Jensen Brickley, and Victor Anderson will do his second race of the weekend, one of our three solo drivers, in sixth place. Jinui Park takes over from Yunsung Park in seventh position. Sandro Pilati back once again following a very impressive fourth place yesterday. Ninth position goes the way of Nico Baldan in the car driven by Nick Taylor yesterday, and Victor Fernandez takes over from his brother Felipe Fernandez, who finished on the podium in second position. He'll line up in 10th position and last. If you missed yesterday's racing, a quick explanation of how this works. There are 10 cars in the field. The cars are open to be shared by two different drivers, i.e. race number 1, driver number 1, race number 2, driver number B. I don't want to say 1 and 2 because there isn't a 1 and 2, of course. Some of these drivers have elected to do both races. That will be Victor Anderson, Sandro Pilati and Giacomo Prandelli. The points they will be awarded will be halved of those that drivers are only doing a singular race. i.e. if you take a win, you get 30 points. Unless you're Victor Anderson, you get 15. So you get half points for doing both races. Good for the likes of Victor Anderson, brand new into Monlau Motorsports this season, brand new behind the wheel of the Cupra. More track time for the Swedish driver is a very, very good thing ahead of the next race at TCR Europe next year. Because, sorry, not next year, next month. Feels like next year, doesn't it? Because the circuit is wet as well, we're going to do 2 formation laps behind the safety car. However, formation lap number 2 will be under the 25-minute time. So the clock will start at the end of formation lap 1. We'll go behind the safety car for formation lap number 2, and then a rolling start will get us underway for 25 minutes of racing. Rolling start. I hear the collective gasps across the country and across the world. Yes, TCR cars on a rolling start is something very, very new, changing things up once again. Bit of experimentation for this new format, and it seemed to work very successfully yesterday. Everybody made it all the way through La Source and up the run to Eau Rouge without too much drama. Maybe that's the commentator's curse, maybe that's jinxing it, who knows? But it was successful the first time of asking. You can see the dampness, can't you, on the circuit for yourself? That should be light grey tarmac there for the run to the bus stop chicane. You can see there's a lot of wet patches. The drainage here at Spa is incredible. I've been here in years previously where it's been 30 degrees on Saturday, and the Sunday the race has been cancelled due to rain. So it really is a very up and down climate here in Belgium in the Ardennes forest. But it does feel, despite the incredibly low temperatures, it does feel as though we may be lucky enough that the rain can just pass over and not cause too much of a problem over the course of this 25-minute race. And there you go, you see, top left-hand corner as promised, the clock has started already, despite this being a formation lap behind the safety car. And the Cupra will peel off into pit lane, and it'll be all down to young Gabriele Corvini to lead the TCR Europe Cup field in the second and final race of the weekend here in Belgium at Spa for what has been a rather successful, methinks, opening to life for the TCR Europe Cup. Absolutely wonderful circuit here at Spa-Francorchamps. If you haven't seen or been to the circuit at Spa-Francorchamps before, highly, highly recommend you make the pilgrimage. They often say don't meet your heroes. You do when it comes to Spa. Absolutely incredible venue to visit as a fan, as a working professional, as a race car driver, and everything in between. It really has a little bit of something for everything. And for Lionel Pania, up there in second position, that's the 85, the blue machine that you see there. First visit to this iconic and wonderful venue. Young son, Tiago, of course, racing full-time in TCR Europe in 2026, made his debut last weekend in Mugello, having finished 7th in TCR South America. Well, it's his dad's turn. Now we're sharing cars, and Tiago, definitely a star of the future, methinks. His dad, a star of the absolute here and now, 50 years of age, but does nothing to dent the pace of the Argentinian driver. 4 times Argentine touring car champion, reigning TCR South America champion, and an absolute titan, not just of South American motorsport, but of motorsport globally. It is wonderful to see Lionel Pania here on track, and second position on paper looks very good in qualifying, but to be perfectly honest, it was a bit of a disrupted session in qualifying too that set this grid. Got a couple of red flag stoppages, Nico Baldan stopping out there on track, but being one of the cars in strife. And what that kind of meant was a lot of the expected key runners, shall we say, didn't really have an opportunity to set a representative lap time. So we have got a mixed up grid. And I think great as Lionel Pania is, perhaps second on the grid would have been a little bit higher than the experience level and the pace base that they were working from would perhaps lead you to believe. The big question is though, maybe you don't have the tenths of a second at this moment in time in your pocket, but Pania has the racecraft, the racing knowledge, the intelligence and the experience to very much overcome that deficit. I think this is going to be a car that will be very firmly in contention for the race victory, to say the least. Well, it's all assumptions, guesswork and predictions, isn't it? Let's not bother with those. Let's get down to facts, because we're about to go racing 2 by 2. Noah's Ark formation we go. Very new to see TCR cars in a rolling start. This is normally GTs. There's only 10 of them though, so it should be relatively straightforward. Looks like a sim race at this moment, doesn't it? Very nice bit of formation flying there. The left-hander at the bus stop, then the right-hander, then we'll straighten up. It'll be all eyes on the gantry. Mandated steady pace. The background, I think that was Nico Baldan we saw coming down pit lane. Let's have a look then in the front of the field. The lights go green very quickly indeed. And Alex Lee has the inside line for the run down into the source. A little bit of a rubble goes Pania. Tries to cover the inside to the out. It doesn't have the opportunity. The door can't close on Giacomo Prandelli, and the young Italian driver with a drag race now down through to a rouge for the first time. Oh dear, that's big contract. That's Sandro Pilate. That's the inside retaining wall, and that is a very unfortunate incident. Pania back up in the second position, oblivious to the drama unfolding behind. That's Victor Anderson under pressure from Janui Park. Janui will get the slipstream though for the long run down the Camel Straight. Keep your eyes out for safety car boards. So far, so good. Big defensive from Gabriele Corvina. The slipstream is so powerful here at Spa. Pania will look to go round the outside into Le Com. No opportunity on this occasion. Good bit of defensive driving from Corvini. Runs wide, goes Prandelli and Victor Anderson. There is Sandro Pilate. Great to see. The PMA Motorsport Cupra is back up and running again, so we stay under green flag conditions. Victor Anderson having all of, Victor Fernandez having all the fun in the world a little bit further back, as Lionel Pania on fire in these opening few encounters, climbing over the back of Gabriele Corvini. That is, he might be an Italian Corvini, but that certainly is an Italian suit. It's a cheap suit. That's what it feels like. That's how close Lionel Pania is clambering over the rear of that Hyundai Elantra TCR. But so far, Corvini very much up for the challenge, holding on very nicely indeed. We saw a bit of strife earlier on from a couple of runners. Everybody, though, seems to be in fairly fine fettle, with the exception of Sandro Pilate. There's the very likeable Italian hobbling the car back to pit lane. Nico Baldan, as we say, is in pit lane. He pulled in straight away in the PMA Motorsports Audi. So once again, drama for the Italian squad as everybody watches on. That's the Solar Indigo and BRC crews together, keeping a very watchful eye on their man Gabriele Corvina, who has done a sterling job over the opening 7 kilometres here at Spa. Takes that pole position, withstands the pressure from Pania, whose charge has been stunted somewhat, it seems, over the second part of the lap. Very much advantage Gabriele Corvini. The opening blows here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. First laps then about to be in the books. We start lap number 2. Corvini has a healthy 1.1 second advantage. Look at Giacomo Prandelli as well, up there in 3rd place. That's a great bit of driving from the Italian. Debut podium yesterday. Absolutely following that one up again. Currently holding on to the bottom step of the podium. Yellow flag at T6 and T19. Not quite sure what they're in aid of. We'll come back to that one in a few moments' time to follow the Italian. Eau Rouge ready on at the top of the hill. That's a great run from Janui Park. Absolutely marvellous, monster in Eau Rouge is the Korean driver. Looks to the outside through Radion. He's going to have the run down the Camel Straight, but the outside line is suboptimal, to say the least, for the run down on Le Com. Who is going to be the last of the late breakers? Park back on the racing line, swoops around the outside of the Audi, and that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is how you make a very effective pass here at Spa. Well done for Janui Park. Unfortunate for Sandro Pilate. The challenge of getting that Cupra back to the pit lane has proven to be a little bit too much. And there he is at the side of the circuit, making the second DNF of the race so far, with Nico Baldan having had to bail to pit lane. He's back on the racetrack, is Nico. Thankfully on an outlap, it seems. But as a competitive proposition, PMA Motorsports have not had the weekend, perhaps, that they would have been looking for. Right then, let's have a look at who is this one that we're looking at there. That is the 246 car of Lopez, formerly driven by Jensen Brickley. We saw that one yesterday in victory contention before Jensen had to come in a pit lane peel off with a issue with the front of the car. Well, it's Lopez's opportunity now to get behind the wheel, and he's doing a grand job so far. First time back in TCR competition for a good 3 years. Sergio Lopez, having spent a bit of time in TCR Italy, well, past the Italian driver we go. Lopez up in a 4th place. What's happened to the pace of Prandelli from 3rd position at the start of the lap? It seems to be going all very, very wrong indeed for the number 22. Down into 5th now and losing ground very rapidly to the cars ahead. Sergio Lopez, bravo to you, young man. Great performance from the 28-year-old Venezuelan driver, and so far holding on to 4th place and starting to gap the recently dispossessed Prandelli behind. Oh, Now that, folks, is what you call late braking. Look at that one. A great move from Pania. In fact, Corvini in drama. So Gabriele Corvini didn't defend that one for good reason. The Italian driver in pit lane. We can only guess as to what the issue is for the BRC Racing Hyundai, but the end result is the same. The legend from Argentina, four-time Argentinian touring car champion, Lionel Pania. We knew he was going to be good when he came to TCR Europe Cup, but to be leading on your debut race, very, very impressive indeed. We really shouldn't be surprised. This man, he just oozes class, does Lionel Pania. So far, he's now our new race leader. 15 minutes on the clock. There's the BRC in pit lane. That's the ICOA squad looking on as well, observing the timing screens. And that is a real shame for Gabriele Corvini. Now the Hyundai charge has been picked up by Janui Park, and all of a sudden, with the victory scent in the air, Janui looks a little bit more animated behind the wheel, does he not? There we see the number 97 machine using all of the racetrack and more. Pania very squirrely on corner exit, run down into Bruxelles, the long right-hander, so easy to snatch an inside wheel, so easy to be a little bit greedy on the throttle, torque steer on corner exit, and before you know it, you're running to the scene of the accident. But both drivers balancing the fine edge of adhesion on a knife edge. Lionel Pania is your race leader. Janui Park has aspirations of his first victory as well in TCR Europe. Can the likeable young South Korean driver do anything about the experienced Titan ahead? As unfortunately Gabriele Corvini doesn't have the horses under the hood that he was looking for, and that sad time does make. Real shame for Gabriele. Very young man, very likeable young man. Fabulous debut weekend, or debut to the season, should I say, in Mugello last time around, got a podium, first podium in TCR Europe. I think he would have come into this weekend with aspirations of victory. That's a sad way to end his adventures. But far from sad, quite the opposite in fact, rather exciting, some might say, is this little squabble for P1. Lionel Pania to the inside line, covers it off for the bus stop chicane. No opportunity for Janui Park. Has no option but to look to the outside. That's not where you want to be. He'll try and get the switch back out of the corner. Pania a little bit compromised. Not got a great launch through the chicane. Now he's going to be vulnerable. Into the source, recognises the threat. Paints the car to the inside. Janui Park one way and then the other. Just Mansell and Senna 91S levels of fighting between these two. Pania so far holds on. Park hungry for the opportunity. Fancies his chances. There's no real way to get past somebody on the run through Eau Rouge. This is more about the slipstream, trying to avoid the dirty wake of the car in front. Hope the understeer doesn't push it too far offline. It's a little bit squirrely, does the Hyundai of Janui Park. He gathers it all together though. That's the monumental launch through Radion that we've seen so many times before for Janui Park. Flash of the lights from the 97, a dummy to the outside and the inside and the outside again. This is sensational stuff from Janui Park. The man sharpened his elbows, and that is a pass and 3/4. Pania doesn't want to give up on this one, tries to fight back, half on, half off the racetrack, but Janui Park gets it done, pulls on the big boy trousers and makes it happen. That is a beautiful bit of racetrack driving from the number 97. Lionel Pania, welcome to TCR Europe, my friend. This is how we do it over here, and I think both drivers will be absolutely loving this battle for the race victory. Let's not forget, in the second race of TCR Europe Cup, Janui Park then is your new race leader for Soline Indigo Racing. Squadra Martino Honda of Lionel Pania has been passed, and this is how it happened. Look at the aggression on the number 97, trying to sell a dummy not once, but twice. Gets it done around the outside. Now both cars have a little bit of an adventure off of the racetrack. Difficult to see from that angle. I do think Janui potentially kept a couple of wheels within the racing surface. Pania, of course, well and truly off on the escape road at the top of Le Combe. But of course, being the one who's been overtaken, I'll be of slightly less concern to the stewards than the one doing the overtaking. We'll keep our eyes on that one, but so far, no harm, no foul. It is advantage. Car number 97, Janui Park, is our new race leader. So while these two are putting on a rather good show at the head of the pack, it's still Lopez up there in third position. Great driving there from Sergio Lopez, holding on to the bottom step of the provisional podium for now. Prandelli last time around was on a 2:33.3, so a good 4/10 slower than Lopez. We'll have a look if that pace has stabilised somewhat next time across the line. 2:32.7 for Lopez, 2:32.4 for Prandelli, and a 2:30.5 for Victor Anderson. So Victor starting to come awake a little bit now as we head into the second half of this race. It'll be interesting to see what the Swedish driver can do on his recovery, currently in 5th position, just ahead of Ruben Fernandez in 6th. Good to see Ruben back again in TCR Europe, behind the wheel of a race car. Of course, a bit of a regular in the series a couple of seasons ago. Just slightly more important things to do, like promoting the championship nowadays, but it's good to see Ruben Fernandez back behind the wheel and doing a grand job, just ahead of his brother up there in 6th position. There is the yellow and red and blue Monlau Motorsport Cooper that we spoke about of Victor Anderson. Car number 10 passing your screen now. Lots of pace on board that machine, lots of opportunity for Victor Anderson yet to get into this conversation, potentially about a bottom step of the podium, currently held on to by a mightily impressive Sergio Lopez, although I do think the Venezuelan driver's pace now is starting to reduce a little, and that's bringing Prandelli very much into the fight. When they start squabbling, Victor Anderson's birthdays will all come together at once, and he will very much be in a three-way scrap for the bottom step of the podium. Ruben Fernandez a little bit further detached, just a few car lengths back, 2 seconds in fact, behind the back of the Monlau Motorsports Cupra of Anderson. So Fernandez has a little bit of work to do, but corner by corner, lap by lap, lights ablaze on the red machine. Victor Anderson is bringing himself in to this particular squabble. Fastest lap of the race so far is held by Victor Anderson with that 2:30.5. The last time around, it does look like Prandelli's found a little bit more pace on this lap. He needs it as well. Nico Baldan, by the way, back in pit lane. So the ongoing PMA Motorsport challenges seem to be continuing. Same for Nick Taylor yesterday. Straight in pit lane at the start of the race. Unfortunately, same again for Nico Baldan. Real shame for the Italian driver and for the Italian squad as well. PMA Motorsports doing a very good job in TCR Italy, TCR Europe over the last couple of seasons as well. In fact, there we go, right on cue. There is Nico. Fresh bit of Kumo boots on the car. You may as well while you're in pit lane. It's never good though to have a conversation with a driver that should be doing about 200 kilometres an hour. And there is Gabriele Corvini, not for the first time, limping around. White flag for a slow-moving car. And there is the BRC squad. At least they're back out on track, do a bit of a fettle, make sure everything's broadly working as it should and isn't leaking. And you can pack it away again, have a head scratch, and come back to this very same venue once again in May for the next round of TCR Europe. Right then, from the back of the field to the front, this is your race leader, Ginui Park, through your screen now. Leonel Pania in 2nd position. 3rd place, almost as one, goes Lopez, Prandelli and Victor Anderson, all pretty much within the same shot. Sergio Lopez has done no TCR touring car racing for the last 3 years. Welcome back, my friend. This is most definitely not something that you can learn on the sim. Lots and lots of pressure on the shoulders of car number 246 right here, right now. That is Giacomo Prandelli's team having a look on, laughs and smiles for now, because their driver's in the ascendancy. But look at Victor Anderson, number 10, Monlau Motorsport Cupra. He was a few car lengths behind, wasn't he? Last time we were counting the numbers. No need to look at the timing screens now. It is all there to be seen with your very eyes. Prandelli from the attacker to the defender. There is Corvini getting well and truly out of the way. Lopez makes it through. Prandelli and Anderson, nobody held up there. Good driving from Gabriele Corvini to keep out of harm's way. And for Lopez, that would have been another opportunity to trip up, another obstacle navigated in his bid to hold on to this mightily impressive 3rd position. So far, so good. 6 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. It's all you need to hold out for. 6 minutes and 20 seconds when you're having fun. It's not a long time at all. when you're under all the pressure in the world for your first podium, it can feel like an absolute lifetime. Let's have a look then. Who is going to be the first to blink of this trio of cars racing for that third position? The bottom step of the podium, Sergio Lopez. Giacomo Prandelli with a little bit of a snatch break. Will he get the car down into the apex in time? Yes, he does. In fact, if anything, it's Lopez that looks to be in a little bit more strife than Prandelli. That's just how hard we're pushing. Nobody is bringing this car to the flag. It is maximum attack until the checkered flag. And Victor Anderson is looking relatively cool and calm and collected. He's got that kind of air of calm before the storm, does Victor, doesn't he? The body language of the car is not flighty. He's not looking aggressive. He's just methodically working his way up the mission. And the mission to get that bottom step of the podium. Prandelli again, a little bit slower through the middle of Eau Rouge. This gives Victor Anderson the best opportunity then he has had. He's going to use the slipstream for as long as humanly possible. Pick your inside or outside line, Victor. The outside line is the choice. Prandelli has the line covered and has the overlap. A little bit of a hip and shoulder as well for Victor Anderson. That's not going to deter the Swedish driver who needs racetrack when you can use runoff. That one's not going to stick. Anderson will have to give that one back up. I'm absolutely certain of it, although perhaps he's favouring the steward's room argument, but I think that's pretty much a slam dunk. I know he was helped off the racetrack a little bit by Prandelli. Well, the wheels were off the racing surface, and I think Victor might be better pressed to let that one go again and have another stab rather than lose it post-race. In fact, there we go, right on cue. Italian driver, great team as Monlau as well. They'll be on the phone quite quickly. Say, let's give that one up, Victor. You've still got 4 minutes. Maybe that little bit of a incident has put paid to a podium challenge, because Sergio Lopez saw that one in his mirrors very gleefully indeed. There's now a gap in the cars behind. So this has realistically become the fight for 4th position, I think it's fair to say now. Ruben Fernandez still gamely holding on in that 6th place. Not quite close enough yet, unless there's dramas to get involved. Zyko will look on, and Gabriele Corvini parks in the shade. Or BRC once again have another look around a rather dispirited Gabriele Corvini. Man of the moment, Sergio Lopez, car number 246. But he won't be coming into this weekend thinking his performance and results are better than that of reigning champion Jenson Brickley. That's one for your scrapbook, isn't it? Well done, Sergio. Really, really good drive, looking very much the part up there in 3rd position. Prandelli still holding on to 4th, and Victor Anderson still wondering where that DRS button is on the car to give him a bit more boost, because he could do with it, couldn't he? Scandinavian driver, Swedish driver, not able to quite get in contention with the back of the Audi just yet. Last time around, 132.5 for the Monlau car, 132.4 for the Audi Icoa Racing of Prandelli. So Anderson, even with the slipstream, doesn't quite have the pace, does he, at this moment in time? Plenty of pace to put pressure on. Not a great deal of pace to actually get into an overtaking position. Let's have a look then. Beautiful shots. You can see the run through Eau Rouge and Radion, how valuable that is. The red car at the back of his shot is the Victor Anderson machine, the number 10 Monlau Motorsports Cupra. Slipstream will be helping as well. Again to the outside line. Again Prandelli wise to the danger. He knows the outside line is where you're vulnerable. Prandelli makes a mistake, gets the car all at 6s and 7s. Good bit of control from the young Italian driver to gather it all together. But Prandelli almost visits the scene of the accident. We saw the wet, the damp patches on the racetrack at the beginning of this race. Yes, it's dried up very quickly indeed, but that just goes to show it is incredibly slippery out there on the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps tarmac. And Prandelli almost suffers the biggest price for that one. Victor Anderson will have seen that one. Monlau Motorsports will have seen that one. Hello guys, if you're listening in. And Victor Anderson, bit between the teeth, methinks, smells an opportunity in this final 1 minute and 40 seconds to try and leverage away that 4th position from the Audi ahead and take yet more valuable points for the TCR Europe Cup. There we go, little bit of curb on the inside for Prandelli. Great bit of car control, actually gets it on the lock stops almost instantaneously, keeps it pointing broadly in the straight line. And that's a good bit of driving there from the young Italian, Giacomo Prandelli. up-and-coming talents. We'll be seeing lots and lots and lots of him in the years to come, I think. But one thing he's seen lots and lots of is bright red. And that's because he's got a Cupra painted to his rear diffuser. And Victor Anderson now looks like the now or never point is about to be hit. We're about to start what I think will be the final lap for the penultimate time. We run up to the bus stop chicane, a good overtaking opportunity. Not on this occasion for Victor Anderson, not quite able to get alongside the Audi to attack into the braking zone. Good launch though through the final corner. Flashing lights for Prandelli, trying to upset Sergio Lopez as much as possible. Lopez must be feeling the pressure. This is incredible stuff from Sergio, but he's starting to tighten a little bit, isn't he? He's starting to slow a little bit. Last time around for Lopez, 31.4 versus a 30.8 for Prandelli. Sergio Lopez looked comfortable. Well, he's not comfortable at all now as we run through Eau Rouge. The top of the hill is rally on. There is the telltale little bit of a dip from Prandelli's Audi. Not as comfortable as those around. That gives Lopez the advantage once again. This is going to be the saviour for Sergio Lopez. Break the slipstream as much as possible. Don't put yourself under pressure for the run up the hill. Good stuff for 246. Task number 1 ticked off and in the book. For Prandelli, opportunity is reducing. Lopez is not on the racetrack. That's another chance for Prandelli. Enthusiasm, opportunity and chances are aplenty on this final lap. Victor Anderson still keeping a watching brief. Doggedly in the wheel tracks of the Audi, waiting patiently for the opportunity. That's the only shout Victor Anderson has now. I think he's going to have to wait for a mistake, or it's going to be a last of the late breakers. Look at the Monlau Cupra tucked up behind the Audi. Lopez, if he can keep it on the racetrack, looking pretty for that third position. Really, really good stuff from the RC2 Honda driver. We've still got about half a lap left to go. Still about 2.5 kilometres of racing action before we can call this one done. Janui Park at the head of the pack is comfortable as a comfortable thing on a comfortable settee. Lionel Pania in that second place, but all eyes are trained on the fight for third, fourth and fifth position. Victor Anderson gets a wonderful run. Nothing to do now whatsoever but have the foot planted firmly to the boards for the run through the final few corners. Blanchimont, more fearsome corner you will not find in motor racing, and Victor Anderson, will he be able to do it for fourth position into the bus stop chicane on the final lap? There is Blanchimont now, the Cupra painted to the back at the head of the pack though. Solite, Indigo Racing, TCR Europe Cup, Janui Park race winner, all in the same sentence. Janui Park takes the checkered flag to win race 2 of the TCR Europe Cup here at Spa-Francorchamps with a commanding performance for Solite, Indigo Racing. Lionel Pania in a fabulous second position. Sergio Lopez holds on to the bottom step of the podium, and right at the very death, we didn't see it unfortunately, but it was Victor Anderson that took that fourth place. Giacomo Prandelli at the death losing out and finishing in fifth place. Ruben Fernandez crosses the line in sixth position. Victor Fernandez, Nico Baldan still on the racetrack. There we go, Fernandez crosses the line in sixth place, just seventh place, just behind his brother Nico Baldan, having been down pit lane right at the very beginning. Bad weekend from PMA Motorsports. He'll be classified in eighth position. Gabriele Corvine still in pit lane, and Sandro Pilate, having said hello to the retaining wall at the start, couldn't get the car home and is not classified and is a DNF. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Man, I love motor racing. That was absolutely beautiful. And Janui Park, take a bow, sunshine. Take a bow, young man. I like Janui. He's a good guy, and this is going to be he's going to be a very happy boy indeed. That was a very good performance from Janui Park and a beautiful victory. I'm just hearing in my ear actually. Let's have a look then at what happened into the bus stop chicane on that final lap. Victor Anderson. Oh, Victor Anderson decides he wanted that racetrack, and Prandelli can go find some of his own for the exit of the bus stop chicane. I'm not going to pass judgment on that one until I see it again from a different angle, but that was exciting, shall we say, in that final corner. No such dramas though for car number 97. No such dramas for Janui Park. What a win. what a great performance. First TCR Europe victory for the driver, although you have, of course, in TCR Europe Cup. These are the provisional results. Lionel Pania classified in second. Sergio Lopez, incredible performance, 5 seconds away and on the podium. Victor Anderson in fourth with that pass, and Giacomo Prandelli in the final corner. Ruben Fernandez in sixth, Victor Fernandez in seventh. Nico Beldan classified in eighth. Gabriele Corvini and Sandro Pilati failed to make it to the checkered flag, leaving 8 cars running on what was a 10-car starting grid. 8 cars, 10 cars, 100 cars, does not matter for Janui Park, because on his mantelpiece when he gets home will be a big Spa-Francorchamps looking trophy with a number 1 plastered all over it for race victory. Fantastic, fantastic stuff from the young man. His first win, of course, in a TCR Europe badge competition, and his first win since Mazzano in 2024 in TCR Italy. Thank you, Neil Hudson, for the statistics. Great stuff then. Now, of course, to remind you all, this is not the TCR Europe main championship, this is the TCR Europe Cup. 2 weekends are taking place. The weekend that we've just finished here at the Circuit of Spa-Francorchamps, and then we're back again 18th to the 20th of September as we head to Barcelona and the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, 2 final races. It's short, it's sharp, it's compact, and I don't know about you, but I think you'll agree, it's very exciting indeed. Great new initiative from TCR Europe, from Ruben Fernandez and the team. I think it's been an absolutely roaring success. These victories, this track time will be so vital to these drivers as well when we come back in May for TCR Europe for the next round of the championship. But that's now, that's then, this is now, and that's a happy, happy, happy Janui Park. There we go. They're a great team, so like, they all come in strength in numbers. Great bunch of guys, love their motor racing, all genuine people. In Janui Park, lovely young man, loves his motorsports, done a great job, hasn't he? Long way from home, coming over onto the international stage. First to Italy, then to TCR Europe. Well, there is Lionel Pania, his son Tiago. Lovely young man as well, watching dad. It'd be amazing, wouldn't it, to be born into a family, to be born into that level of absolute sporting excellence, and then the pressure on Tiago's shoulders to stand up to that name, and the man's gone and done it. Incredible. Right, I think we might have our race winner down on pit lane. Look, there she is, there's Lena. Let's head down then while we have a quick word with our race winner, Janui Park.
An exciting, amazing win. First win in TCR Europe Cup.
First time TCR Europe Cup, and then we raced to his AM class, but we yesterday qualifying to his two red flag, no lap time. So in sector 1, sector 2 is proper, so no problem. And then, but now a P7 start, his rolling start is amazing, it's me, but it's many overtaking, and then one step by step is overtaking, so P1. Thank you. And then we select in the racing, and then Henderson casting, and then we sponsor, and then we family, and then my girlfriend. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations. Back to you, Paul.
Well done, Janui. Just managed to get the sponsor mentions and family mentions in there at the end. The more you win, the more you'll remember to reel these things off, I'm absolutely sure. And mark my words, folks, future prediction time, Janui Park and TCR race victories will be happy bedfellows for many years to come. I am absolutely certain. Right then, sounds like a good time, doesn't it, to have a look at the highlights of the race we've just enjoyed. So, a rolling start once again under slightly wet conditions here at the Circuit of Spa-Francorchamps, and at the head of the pack, Gabriele Corvini converted pole position into an early race lead. Plenty of drama in the middle of the pack. Giacomo Prandelli on the attack from Lionel Pania. The Italian couldn't quite achieve the overtake in the opening few corners. Unfortunately for Sandro Pilati, he did achieve contact with the inside barrier. That would be an early exit for the Italian driver. Not a great day at the races. Early doors, Lionel Pania, very competitive indeed, while further back, Sergio Lopez stole the headlines with this commanding drive. This was Pania's time to take over the race lead, just timed with Gabriele Corvini coming into pit lane, and then the moment of the race. Janui Park all of the aggression in the world. It would be an incredible fight at the front of the field. Lionel Pania doing his level best, but it was only good enough for second position. Then all eyes focused on this squabble for the bottom step of the podium. Giacomo Prandelli testing the outer limits of what racetrack is available at Spa-Francorchamps as Victor Anderson continues the hunt and the stalk. It would come down to the final corner while Janui Park took the plaudits and the checkered flag. At the back of the field, Victor Anderson stole that fourth place, and a great day's racing was had by all. What a motor race. 10 cars, only 8 at the checkered flag, but each and every one of them pushing to the absolute limit. Incredible stuff, incredible scenes at Spa, and then podium celebration times before we say goodbye. Our top 3 drivers will be out in a few moments' time to take their absolutely beautiful, it has to be said, TCR Europe Cup trophies and celebrate. Early in the morning, it's a little bit chilly, and being covered in champagne probably won't do anything for the core body temperature of these guys, but I don't think they'll mind one iota. This is what you do it for, guys and girls. This is why we go motor racing, to get on that podium. And there is Sergio Lopez. Bravo to Sergio. He's been out of TCR for a very long time, and that is a commanding performance. Lionel Pania, another podium for the brilliant driver. Then Janui Park, first TCR Europe race victory, and the national anthem. Short and sweet there for Janui Park. Hope you enjoyed your moment in the sunshine. There'll be plenty more of those, I'm sure. Kuo caps for our race winners, of course. And then trophy presentation time. Third place trophy goes the way Sergio Lopez, Gabriel Alonso from TCR Europe had the honour of handing out that particular accolade. In second position, Yuri Fernandez, also from TCR Europe, hands out the trophy to Lionel Pania. Lionel, sorry, I know you want to keep your cap on, but you need to put ours on. There is the second place trophy. And then Gabriel Alonso, once again, the winner's trophy for Janui Park. Fantastic stuff. Solar Indigo Racing, of course. Well, Yuri Fernandez will be awarded the winner's trophy for the team. And then Manuel Vieira, on behalf of Race Tyres International, the tyre partner of TCR Europe, gives the RTI trophy to Janui Park. First place overall, first place in the Race Tyres International trophy. The drivers that haven't won a race have been in the top 50 of the world ranking heading into the start of the season. Family photo for our drivers, and then in time-honoured fashion, expensive and delicious and very sticky champagne with furiously sprayed all over each other. Well, we look here thinking I could have a glass of that one right about now to celebrate a great weekend, although it is early, so maybe not. Here we go then. Podium celebration. Sergio Lopez is the first one to get the champagne sprayed, and so he should be as well, because it's been a great drive from Sergio. There we go. Time-honoured fashion, lovely scenes there. And Janui Park, the man of the moment, getting celebrated in style. Brilliant stuff there from Janui. Fantastic from Solar Indigo Racing. It looked so good for Johnson yesterday. Well, Janui's the one that managed to pull the trigger on the race victory and say goodbye to what has been a very entertaining weekend. The first weekend of the TCR Europe Cup. Let's all remember, we're back in action once again on the 18th to the 20th of September. Until then, we'll see you in TCR Europe. We'll see you on social media. From myself, Paul Jeffrey, from Helena Pitchuk, and the whole team here at Spa. Thank you for watching. Take care. And until next time, goodbye.